Hey everyone, StarLight Matt here, and this is going to be the first episode of the Top Tier Deck Profile series, where we go over decks that have topped at local tournaments. Starting us off is going to be my Boba Fett Command deck, where I was able to top at my local 20-person tournament. So I hope you guys enjoy this series. Let us know what you think in the comments, and like and subscribe.
All right, guys, Starlight TCG here, and today I'm going to be bringing you my first place Boba Fett deck profile. I participated in a tournament at Fire and Dice on Friday night, and I was able to take first place in a 20-person tournament. So I'm going to be giving you my deck profile. All right, so let's go into the deck. So first we play 3 Greedo, pretty standard. Obviously, I'm sure you guys know what Greedo does at this point. 3/1. In effect, when defeated, you may discard the top card of your deck. If it's an event, you can deal 2 damage to a ground unit. I do play a lot of events in this deck, as you will see, so that comes up a lot, actually. Then we're going to go into 3 Viper Probe Droid. Being able to get early information on your opponent's hand is really, really good. It's also great to have another 3-beater to tag into the Sabine Wrens of the world in the early turn 1 plays, and also potentially a cell block guard if you play a control deck. And lastly, for our final starter, we're going to go with 3 Cartel Spacer. When played, if you control another cunning unit, you can exhaust a unit that costs 4 or less. Just a fantastic card, especially comboing off later in the game. And so that's going to be it for our starter cards, actually. If you guys, one thing you guys notice is I don't play any Crafty Smuggler. I've done a lot of play testing with this deck, and I feel like that card just doesn't really do anything for you. Being a 2/2 shielded, it can't really take out any of these early game units your opponents are going to be playing without the addition of another card like Shoot First, and you're already running other units that can do that exact same thing for you. And I also find that when you get to that mid to late game, having Crafty Smuggler be your draw just feels so bad, and you'd rather have more mid to end game cards. So that's it. That's going to be it for my starters. For our next units, we're going to be continuing 3 Boba Fett, really standard, able to do 3 more damage when it's attacking a unit that didn't enter play this turn that's exhausted, which is really, really good. Probably the best 3-drop in the entire game. Then we're going to play 3 Super Laser Technician. Standard, goes into a resource. It's always live off ECL if they have a ground unit on board. Then we have 3 7 Fleet Defender. Really standard, comes in shielded, able to take out a lot of those troubling space units for you early game, especially Green Squadron A-Wing being a raid 2. So that's huge. Going into our bigger boys, we of course run 3 Bosk. Being able to ambush and be a 4/5 is amazing, and then also being able to combo off your events and deal 2 more damage to another unit is great as well. Then we're going to go into 3 Steadfast Battalion, your primary target for ECL. Being able to bring out Boba Leader first, and then ECL triggers Steadfast Battalion, make Steadfast a 7/7, and you can one-shot a mirror match Boba when they bring their leader out, or you can just do a bunch of excess damage with that overwhelm to their base. Then, of course, we're going to have our 3 Fett's Fire Spray. Comes in ready, really standard. An important ruling to know is you can ECL ambush Fett's Fire Spray, and then its effect's going to trigger when played, and you get a ready it. So it gets to essentially do 2 attacks in 1 turn, which is huge. All right. Then for our last unit in our deck, we of course run 3 Darth Vader. Just an insanely good card. Being able to combo off, potentially grab you a Cartel Spacer to trigger with another cunning unit to exhaust something. Being able to hit Boba unit, or even your Viper Probe Droid. Another reason why I removed the Crafty Smuggler from the deck is because it doesn't trigger off Vader, so it's another way to miss Vader's effect. Going into our events, we are going to be running 2 Shoot First. I like Shoot First. It's an amazing card. I used to run this card at 3, but I found that 2 was kind of better for me, and it worked better in my playtesting. Then, of course, we are going to run 3 No Good to Me Dead. Absolutely broken card. Needs to be maximized as a 3 of. Now, not only does it trigger with Boba unit to do more damage, you can dish it out on their leader and essentially exhaust their leader for 2 turns. Just super incredible card. And then we're going to go 3 Surprise Strike. Being able to dish a bunch of more damage to the base or to a unit you just can't handle on your own is insane. And so that card is just incredible. And now we're going to get into some more spicy stuff. We main deck 2 Asteroid Sanctuary. I find that Asteroid Sanctuary is just one of the best turn 2 plays you can start out with. If you're able to go first and claim the initiative, going into turn 2 with one of your units on board and they have, say, a Sabine Wren or another one of their ground units on board, or even something in space you don't want to deal with, like a Green Squadron A-Wing, you can just exhaust it immediately and give a shield token to your starter unit, and that's just incredible. And also late game, it'll trigger, get off some more damage off the board that might put you away. Just incredible card. I found it to be great, and I really love it having in the main deck. It used to be in the side deck for me. Then we're going to go 2 Waylay. Waylay is just such an incredible card. Being able to bounce something back to the hand is so huge, especially as you get to more of that late game scenario, and I found it to be a great 2 of. Then, of course, you have standard 3 Resupply. It's fairly normal. You're going to see that everywhere. Being able to ramp is just so huge. And then, of course, we are going to have our 3 Overwhelming Barrage, being able to potentially be a board wipe and give out some more damage and health to a unit is just crazy, especially if you can trigger this off a Steadfast Battalion and then now do 9 damage amongst their units and buff Steadfast to a 9/9 if he's used his ability that turn. And for our last spicy main deck tech, we main deck 2 Change a Heart. So I built more of an aggro strategy Boba Fett deck in addition to exhausting units. And so I find that games that I tended to lose prior to building this version of the deck, I would be barely off in damage, maybe 5 to 6 damage off. Having Change a Heart as an option to just take control of a turn 4 or 5 unit and dish that damage back to them is just so crazy, and it can be a momentum swinger. And it actually won me my tournament winning game, being able to steal a Reinforcement Walker and Surprise Strike with it for game. So incredible card. I absolutely love it in the main deck. So that is going to be it for our main deck. Going into the side deck, we run 3 Disarm. This is going to be for your aggression matchup. Then I run 1 Traitorous. Also goes in the aggro matchup, being able to take control of one of their big boy units or decks that are just strategizing by buffing one unit in particular. And then we have 1 more Asteroid Sanctuary. I just kind of fit it in wherever I feel like it needs to go if it'd be good in that particular matchup. Then we have another Shoot First. Pretty standard. I might put it in control, I might not. It all depends on what the opponent's running, but it's just there as an option. Then we have our last Waylay and our last Change a Heart. These go into the control matchup if I feel like I'm having a hard time facing a control deck. And even in general, actually, I'll just put them in. And as far as what I swap out, I find in the control matchup, Shoot First doesn't do anything for me, so I take out probably the Shoot First for another Waylay and a Change a Heart. And then our last sideboard card, 2 I Am Your Father. Now, a lot of people dislike this card. I think it's potentially nuts. It's essentially an open fire or a draw 3. And being able to trigger that in the control matchup, as you know, you're going to go to those later rounds and have a lot of resources available. You want to be able to just take out a problematic unit, or if they say no, let me draw 3 cards. And so either way, it's going to end up good for me. And so that's going to be it for our Boba Fett deck. Thank you guys for watching.